an influencer, a writer, a speaker, motivational speaker, and a lot more. She does so many things. I'm quite amazed, Nisha. I think that is absolutely gorgeous.
We must suck life to the leaves, isn't it?
Yes. You do a lot of brand consulting, Nisha. Work with a lot of brands and do a lot of, you write in a lot of columns, so that is amazing. And today what we are going to discuss is the fine art of dining.
Yes.
You do dine out a lot. You host a lot of your own parties and soirees. You dine out at different fine dining restaurants, different kind of cuisines, at a lot of people's houses, and a lot of, you know, other things to do with food is where you eat out a lot in India and globally.
Yes.
Let's talk about India first.
Yes.
So, how has dining out evolved as, you know, of yesteryear till today?
I think, Sam, I came to India around 17 years ago.
Yes.
And I feel the scene had begun to change already.
Okay.
And it's very fabulous for me to come into this country and see that with every year there's more vibrancy in all the arts.
Okay.
And one of the things I believe in is there are no walls in the arts, whether it's design, whether it's fashion and couture, whether it's food. And I've done a lot of art and food workshops with fabulous artists like Arzan Kambata, Sunil Padwal, Jitish Kalat at Indigo.
Yes.
And it's really beautiful to see art and food intertwine, and beautiful table placements, fabulous plate displays,
Yes.
international standards of you know, banquet settings happening in India.
Yes.
And I, who am not only an appreciator and a lover of the arts, I won't use the word collector, I'd use the word lover.
Yes.
I just feel food is an art in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when you look at India as a country, right from when India was invaded by many different cultures, you know, right from the Mughals in the north, they got their own, you know, cuisine and, you know, different styles of dining.
Yes.
And if you look at the royals and the palaces in Rajasthan, in Jaipur and Hyderabad, they have a very lavish and luxurious, you know, their dining rooms in their palaces are the focus.
Yes.
If you look at the dining room, it is absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
And there's a certain art that was there, you know, in the yesteryear. Do you think that art has been lost now with a lot of commercialization in the dining scene?
Well, I'd say there are two things that have happened.
Yes.
One is there's a revival.
Okay.
There's a revival of all things luxury and lavish.
Yes.
There's a revival of beautiful couture. There is a revival. We mustn't forget that India had Shahi cuisine.
Yes.
And magnificent foods and courses even before any other country in the world.
Yes.
We are the oldest, from weaves to couture to fabric to food. India, I think, was one of the best. And then, of course, sadly, we were colonized and we became a poverty-struck nation. But the revival has boomed, especially since the 2000s,
Yes.
since the millennium. And I see, in fact, more lavishness around.
Okay.
I see courses abounding.
Yes.
I see food becoming the cynosure of meetings and conversations. So tough deals, tough negotiations become actually easier.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And I also feel that, you know, Nouvelle cuisine has seen a headway in India,
Yes.
in Bombay especially.
Yeah.
You see celebrity chefs from all over the world coming. In fact, I hosted an 80 people 10-course lunch for Vikas Khanna of Junoon, the celebrity chef. And I had the privilege of hosting lunches and dinners for various chefs all over the world. And I find that while I enjoy their experimentation, I'm still one for the purity of cuisine.
Yes.
So I enjoy authentic food. I'm not sure I could eat a quail egg in a curry that is from another genre.
Yeah.
You know, so there is something to be, and yet molecular cuisine is interesting. It's something I like to experiment with. but I must say it doesn't satiate my appetite.
Yeah. So it's the traditional.
It's the feeling of abundance that
Yes.
Indian cuisine has, which
yeah.
I enjoy.
Yes.
So I took my father to Ménage à Trois at Rendezvous, and he was aghast at the portion sizes.
Yeah.
So Sam, when you go out to eat, you know, portion sizes also, one of the trends is they've reduced.
Yeah.
And
Especially at fine dining restaurants.
Yes.
I mean, you talk about value for money. It doesn't mean it has to be cheap, but you are getting value for what you're paying.
Yes.
I mean, it's that. It
And
can be as costly as 1,000 rupees a dish.
Yes.
But that dish, in terms of ingredients, preparation, quantity, has to bring that 1,000 rupee value.
Yes, and food has to also be, you know, lavish and of the opinion. I mean, everyone on a table has to feel that there's enough.
Yeah.
You know, and I find that restaurants are cutting down portion
Portions.
sizes.
Yeah.
So that's something that I feel one could look at. But otherwise, I think Indians have a good hearty appetite.
Yes, they do.
And
Yeah.
Indians enjoy eating well. So especially in our country, I think one should watch out for portion sizes.
Yeah. So robust
And
cuisine.
robust, and also people and chefs and restaurants must watch out for authenticity.
Yeah.
So sure, add the quinoa and add the truffle oil
Microgreens and
and
truffle
the,
oil.
and the
yeah.
truffle oil, but make sure that the purity of the cuisine stays,
Yes.
and it has to be delicious.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that word delicious
Yes.
has to exist.
So, when you look at fine dining as a genre, you know, so they say French cuisine is fine dining, whereas you know, probably a Malayali cuisine, fine dining, not so. You know, what are your takes on that? Can Indian cuisine be fine dining? Can regional cuisine be fine dining?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel that that's one of the trends. We discussed trends
Yes.
last time.
Yes.
And I feel that's one of the things that counts 100%.
Yes.
That there is a lot of fine dining entering regional cuisine.
Yes.
So you have Malayali, or you have Konkan, or you have Goan, or you have Kolkata food
Yeah.
that suddenly has courses and is being served in beautiful platters, and it's being broken down into various different, courses.
Yes.
And the one thing that I feel sets Indian food apart from, say, French cuisine is the warmth and the hospitality.
Yes.
Because in my book, warmth and hospitality is such an essential ingredient that, you know, when you look at French cuisine, it's fun. It's not fun really. It's pure. It's you know, the flavors abound because it's not shrouded in spices. But having said is there that level of warmth and hospitality?
Yeah.
Definitely not.
No. Yeah.
So if you look at food from Tel Aviv or from Israel, Jerusalem,
Turkey,
Akov,
yeah.
Turkey, there's a certain warmth.
Yes.
And the food is colorful. Another thing, Samir, is that you know, colorful food, different colored vegetables,
Yes.
organic vegetables, seasonal
Yes.
vegetables.
Yes.
They make for a very vibrant table.
Table. Yes.
And I for one, am a firm believer in warmth intertwining with vibrance,
Yeah.
intertwining with taste.
Taste,
So
yeah.
it's all the ingredients.
Yeah.
So you have a cuisine lacking in warmth, it doesn't make the cut.
Now, when we are talking about warmth, we are talking about service.
We're
and
talking
the
about hospitality. We're
Yes.
talking also about, you know, in India, why did husbands want food from their mothers and wives' hands?
Yes.
Because it was not so much subjugation of a woman as much as they felt that a wife's blessings
Yeah,
or
the
a mother's
love, yeah,
love
yeah.
that goes into food actually makes food into a blessing or a dua.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing that I think enhances the taste of food.
I do agree completely. But can fine dining cuisine have dua in it?
Of course, because you
Yeah.
have chefs. I mean, you meet just today we met the chef.
Yes.
You know, you have a chef who's happy, who's excited.
Yes.
You know, you have even a social media person who's
Yeah.
excited and warm
Yeah.
can make a difference
yeah.
in his relay.
Yes.
And a chef can make a difference in the taste of food. It's the
Food,
amount
yeah.
of passion, the amount of
Yeah,
love,
yeah.
and the amount of keenness he puts into a dish.
Yes.
So I definitely feel like if you go to Japan, Sam, the hospitality is so beautiful that you can actually taste it.
Yes.
You enter a restaurant, that teppanyaki guy sitting in front of you is making it with so much love.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you know, since you're discussing hospitality, service and fine dining, I want to mention here that training staff that serves the food, because you're not necessarily meeting the chef. So training staff, making them wear deodorant, making them polite, making them learn the jargon of food is so important. I strongly believe that India could do with that training and that etiquette with serving staff.
And especially in the fine dining
In the fine dining. And a big no-no is paper napkins in fine dining restaurants. You have to have serviettes.
Yes. I do agree. You have traveled internationally a lot and travel every probably 2 weeks, and you're there in Dubai and the US and Singapore and Switzerland, your favorite place. How do you compare fine dining in those countries vis-a-vis India?
I have to admit that fine dining internationally is more arrived. There are more Michelin star restaurants.
Is that a definition of arrived?
Well, that is a standard. That's the gold standard for restaurants. So maybe there may be a dhaba in Jammu serving rajma chawal, which may be 100 times more pure and beautiful. But you know, that level of the many facets of making a restaurant brilliant. Whereas you look at a service, you look at presentation, you look at flavors, you look at the design of a platter. So that makes the whole experience so much more enhanced. So I do feel in that respect, internationally, you do meet more restaurants which are well honed in fine dining. Having said which, I strongly believe that India has the best food, the best hospitality and the best flavors. So all it's going to take is a better level of service and a better level of presentation to eclipse the world in terms of food. Because we have dum cooked biryani, which takes the whole night to make. We have halim, we have beautiful shorbas and rogan josh, and we have stunning eggs, akuris. So India is definitely very kaleidoscopic in its food. And I would definitely strongly feel that India eclipses the rest of the world. But yes, to be world class, to be making that cutting edge statement in fine dining, we do have a little way to go.
And have you ever tried Indian fine dining restaurants globally? Or are there any Indian fine dining?
Fine dining, yes. Indian and also, you know, when the Prime Minister celebrated 60 years of India in London, there was a 14-course meal. So it was beautiful and well done. But if you were to ask me about restaurants abroad, Indian restaurants, I think they have a lot to be desired. They don't somehow make the cut. The food doesn't taste Indian. It's some strange interpretation of Indian food. And I also feel that, you know, I was a student in Los Angeles. And my Japanese and American roommates, flatmates, used to insist that I take them for Indian. And we used to go to Gaylord's at Hollywood. And you know, Rod Stewart would dine there, Madonna would dine there. But I felt bad that they weren't being exposed to real Indian food. You eat Indian food in Switzerland. I mean, somebody feels they are, you know, laying out the red carpet by taking you to Indian restaurants. When you're there, you want to experiment. But anyway, so I have gone to these restaurants, and I feel I cringe because I know that Indian food is so much better.
If you were to open a fine dining restaurant, what is one Indian cuisine? Would you look at a specific Indian cuisine of fine dining that you would open, or would it be a
I'm a patriotic
Indian
person, Jammu and Kashmir citizen. I would definitely want my you know, state cuisine. I'm first Indian, but then I am from Jammu. I would love to expose the world to Kashmiri and Jammu food. And I would love for the authentic, you know, cuisines of Kashmir and Jammu to be served. I feel you find Bengali restaurants, you find Lucknow restaurants, but do you find Kashmiri and Jammu food?
No, but also when you look at Lucknowi cuisine or Bihari cuisine, there are very few restaurants which actually do fine dine with that kind of cuisine. There are very mediocre, medium price rather than mediocre restaurants which are available.
I'd have to agree. Sometimes they're medium price, but sometimes they're even mediocre.
Yeah.
And that mediocrity, if we could move away from, I think food would become one of the key points to bring world-class tourism to India.
Yes.
Because food is one of the showstoppers of this country.
Yes.
And I strongly, another thing, Sam, even wines are becoming better and better in this country.
Yes, they are.
You have better wines, better people making wines. So fine dining automatically takes you to wines and food.
Yes.
And I think we are arriving. We had a setback, like I said, because of colonialism, but we are bouncing back and we are coming to a beautiful place.
Yeah. And where do you see the art of fine dining moving ahead 3 years from now?
I see
in our country.
I see lavish banquets.
Okay.
I see more sit-down dinners than buffets.
Okay.
I see experimentation and fun and joie de vie in uniforms of staff.
Yes.
Turbans and colorful uniforms rather than Western-derived uniforms.
Yes.
I see, something that I have a penchant for is table centerpieces.
Okay.
And you will never see a party or a dinner of mine without extravagant and OTT centerpieces. So I would believe that table design and decor is going to become very big.
Okay.
And I'm hoping, now this I don't see 3 years from now, but I'm hoping Indians become better with RSVP.
Okay.
Because you can't have sit-down dinners with poor RSVP.
Yeah.
And I think if you were to ask me for a critique, India is one of the worst countries with RSVP. People are very badly behaved and they come out with last-minute RSVPs.
Yeah.
So while I love India and I love its people, please work harder on your RSVP. And so that's one thing I'm hoping. And I also see earlier dinners.
Okay.
I see people working harder, more ambitious people, techies, bankers, startups.
Yeah.
So people don't want to be necessarily, in the typical Bombay way, eating at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. They want to eat at 7:30, which is also healthier, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And also food is becoming so much healthier. People are concerned about dollops of ghee. So Indian food is also changing.
Yeah.
I see that 3 years from now, not only in fine dining, but also in restaurants. I see food becoming healthier, younger, more light.
Yeah. So great. Lovely chatting with you, Nisha. Thank you
usual,
for being with us.
lovely chatting with you.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers, and thank you, Sam.
Absolutely.
And thank you for bringing Indian food onto the world map.
Yeah. Thank you. Cheers.
Was that better?
Yeah. Will you